Welcome to part 3 of alternatives to composting. Last time we discussed habitats. That conversation's not quite over, but let's first discuss some other things. What else can we do with garden waste? How else can we make it useful? Here I've set out some small logs. They're covered to keep them dry. They've been there for over a year. I could use them to make charcoal, but more likely I'll make some ash, wood ash. It's useful as a fertilizer. And this larger branch, not sure what I'll do with that. Smaller bits of wood can be laid down for decoration, but also it creates a small habitat. And here, this old stump adds a bit of a feature and some height. Take a look, it's rotted out completely underneath. Most people, when they mow their lawn, use the grass cuttings as a mulch under trees, or alternatively, try to compost it. I, however, didn't mow my lawn last year. I let it grow long enough so at the end of the summer I could cut it and leave it to dry and use it later here like straw or hay. I'm using it to cover my potatoes, and some of you might recognise it as the Ruth Stout method. So, back in part 2, I gave you some homework. That homework was to find out what word describes decomposition with oxygen. Hopefully, you found the word to be aerobic. Yes, aerobic decomposition. Now, there was a little clue at the end of part 2, and some of you will recognise that the words anaerobic and aerobic also relate to exercise. Now, to illustrate it a little bit, because it's something we do need to understand, this fire can be likened to somebody running, and this fire that we were looking at to somebody walking. Both fires have sufficient oxygen, therefore they're burning clean. There's no smoke to be seen. Both fires, whether they burn fast or slow, are burning aerobically. But look what happens when I add some more fuel. Quite quickly, we begin to see some smoke. It's because there's just not quite enough oxygen. The fuel I put on is burning incompletely. But given a little time, as the new fuel heats up, again the fire will begin to burn completely, and the smoke will disappear. So when we added that additional fuel, we asked too much of the fire. For a little while, it burnt anaerobically. Similarly, we can ask too much of our bodies if we try to sprint for too long or run too far. Our bodies will begin to ache. Our bodies are telling us the exercise we're doing is anaerobic. Around most of our plants, we want aerobic decomposition. If we have anaerobic decomposition around our plants, it can make them sick. and oftentimes very quickly kill them. So in the case of fire, the smoke is a bad sign. And similarly, in the case of plants and decomposition, the smell is too. Nonetheless, there are ways we can make anaerobic decomposition work for us. And that's what we'll be discussing in part 4. Thank you for watching.